What's up guys, it's the one and only Bradley Freakin here, bringing you my second intense Halo lore theory video. If you haven't seen my first video, go ahead and check out this video on screen. It's also in the description. It's a video I made back in 2014 showing the future of Master Chief and his true importance to the Halo storyline. After seeing that video, it will probably make you more interested in this one. So for a few months, I was the head of lore at Halo Follower, which is the biggest Halo channel on YouTube at nearly 450,000 subscribers. I left mostly because the staff and I didn't see eye to eye on the specific theory. That, and I wasn't getting paid for my work like what was agreed. Both The Legacy of the Arbiters, which is at 500,000 views, and Master Chief's Darkest Secret, closing in on nearly 3 million views, were written by yours truly. That second video is the most popular video on their channel. Their second most viewed video doesn't even have half those views. Now you can understand why I not getting paid like I should have was kind of a big deal. This is a video I originally had planned for their channel back in 2014 right after Halo Escalation concluded, but I bring it to you now in a more polished fashion with more details than I had then. As you can see from the title, I'm predicting the Didact's return in a future Halo, most likely Halo 6. Halo 6 has yet to be teased or even announced for that matter, but I have been busy piecing together the puzzle of what lies on the road ahead of the Chief and his once great adversary. So let's continue where we left off in Halo 5. Captain Lasky of the UNSC Infinity is running away from the newly reborn Cortana right after she attempted to unleash her newfound arsenal of Guardians onto the galaxy. Moments before this, Blue Team and Master Chief were released from a cryptum by Spartan Locke and Fireteam Osiris. Immediately after, they go to Sanghelios to reunite with Dr. Halsey and the Arbiter. And finally, if played on Legendary, post-credits we are left with the chilling image of Cortana showing that she now controls a Halo ring, while humming some ominous music. But what does this have to do with the Didact, Brad? Well, viewer, I thought you'd never ask. It's been 2 years now since we last saw the Didact in a plot where he was the antagonist. So the last time we saw him in the Halo games was at the end of Halo 4 on the mission Midnight. He was hijacked, for lack of a better word, by Cortana, and then blown off the bridge he was standing on by a pulse grenade and fell into the Composer. However, thanks to the terminals, we know he, along with the Chief, are immune to it. We also see him throughout Halo Escalation, which takes place the following 72 hours after Halo 4's ending. Additionally, if we read into Halo Escalation, issue 10, we see that he was later seemingly composed or destroyed by several composers, detonating all at once, even though...
That leaves only the Composer.
It will not work on my new form.
Despite this evidence, many people still believe this to be the finality of the Didact.
The Didact is vaporized into a crisp. I guess you could say he vapes. Was that a good pun?
No, Chris. No, it wasn't.
The Didact is surely dead at this point, guys. I think that was a pretty epic death.
So here are several reasons why the Didact is in fact still alive. Reason number 1, we can't make major story changes such as killing major characters in a medium mostly unused by the public. Here's an example. That would be like in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling killing off Ron Weasley in a podcast story set between the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. While it's technically canon, that medium is not the most used by the public and thus wouldn't make sense. Spoiler alert, he makes it to Part 2. Proof of this can be seen in the Halo 4 Spartan Ops, where we learned of the Janus key, and then it was taken away by the Caretaker in Halo Escalation. So most gamers would have been just as well off not knowing about them in the first place, seeing as no major story changes even occurred. Reason number 2. Right before Halo 4 released, when the public learned the Didact will be the antagonist of Halo 4, Frank O'Connor said, "The Didact will play a pivotal role in the Reclaimer saga." If the Didact is dead, it would have made much more sense for him just to say he will play a pivotal role in Halo 4. Reason number 3. Frank O'Connor and a few others at 343 Industries are huge lore nuts, hiring a multi-person team solely dedicated to making sure there are no discontinuities or conflicts within the Halo lore. So they're constantly editing all media produced by 343 to make sure it is all canonically correct. Reason number 4. Julum Dama has great control over Requiem and Prometheans in Spartan Ops. Remember, this is a whole 6 months after the events of Halo 4 and Escalation, and this type of control probably requires some type of action from the Didact. He is also referred to as the Didact's hand. Additionally, there's even a Spartan Ops mission called the Didact's Gift, where a Promethean soul is given to Julum Dama. Who gave him that, I wonder? Finally, I'd like you to listen to the Halo 4 Epilogue one more time, as it contains audio of the Didact speaking as if he is still alive.
In this hour of victory, we taste only defeat. I ask why. We are forerunners, guardians of all that exists. The roots of the galaxy have grown deep under our careful tending. Where there is life, the wisdom of our countless generations has saturated the soil. Our strength is a luminous sun towards which all intelligence blossoms, and the impervious shelter beneath which it has prospered. I stand before you, accused of the sin of ensuring Forerunner ascendancy, of attempting to save us from this fate where we are forced to recede. Humanity stands as the greatest threat in the galaxy. Refusing to eradicate them is a fool's gambit. We squander eons in the darkness, while they seize our triumphs for their own. The mantle of responsibility for all things belongs to Forerunners alone. Think of my acts as you will, but do not doubt the reality. The reclamation has already begun, and we are hopeless to stop it.
Some believe that these are just old lines he said pre-Halo 4. However, I believe this audio hasn't happened yet, as the Didact never felt this specific way toward humanity, along with some of his lines just not making sense as if it were pre-Halo 4. For example, the Didact never wanted to destroy humanity, only to imprison them. I always felt this epilogue was actually a glimpse into a future Halo. So, this was all the evidence I had to work with until recently when I found out Brian Reed, the writer of Halo Escalation and also Halo 5's lead writer, posted notes in the physical comic edition of Halo Escalation about what truly happened in the Composer's Forge with the Didact. In Halo 4, we explicitly state the Composer has no effect on the Didact, or Chief for that matter. Thanks, Librarian. What we see here isn't a standard Composer usage by any stretch of the imagination. This is 6+ Composers detonating all at once, their energy expelled in an uncontrolled manner. He's not composed in the traditional sense because there's nothing there to process him. What he is a surprise. But he's out there, he's alive, we'll see him again. Brian Reed later tweeted, "I think it's funny how a few folks suggested we bring the Didact back in the comics just to kill him off 2 issues later." Finally, Halo Waypoint was also updated with further information on the Didact, saying he was effectively turned into a digital essence. Another thing to note is that as other characters on Waypoint have a death date, he does not. By no means does the Didact being alive pardon 343 Industries for their discontinuity from Halo 4 to Halo 5, such as misleading advertising and killing Julim Dama in roughly 15 seconds. Additionally, the ads showed Hunt the Truth, making it seem that there was a huge conspiracy of lies around Oni and the Chief, and also ads showing Locke killed Chief and vice versa. But never mind that. Let's focus on Halo 6. So Halo 5 ends with Lasky needing a way to fight Cortana. He has hardly any way to fight her at this point. As a matter of fact, there's hardly anyone capable of taking down Cortana. Even the Chief is at his point of desperation. Cortana has complete control over all Forerunner tech after Halo 5. So to what end does her power lie? She even has force powers that can lock people in place. There's only one being even close to that kind of power that we know of. And that is why I believe the Chief turns to the Didact to help him destroy Cortana in Halo 6. But to make things more interesting, what if I told you you've already seen proof of this meeting? Rewind back to E3 2013. Remember the Halo trailer? Let's take another look. I'd like to point out 4 main details you might have overlooked. Number 1. Chief's helmet is cracked from his encounter with Locke, thus already putting this timeline after Halo 5. The Guardian that arises is not like the others we've seen. All of Cortana's colors are blue. Her Guardians are blue, her Prometheans are blue. When was the first time we saw this reddish-orange hue? Oh, that's right. The trailer never says Halo 5. This is one of the only Halo trailers to not specifically say what game it is designated for. And lastly, Chief looks down at the chip. When we first saw this trailer, we all thought he was looking down in sorrow as he had just lost Cortana. I now challenge this is not the case, that he is looking at the chip in sorrow, for he knows now what he must do to stop her. So with this all being the case, what even could the Didact do to stop Cortana, you might ask? Well, we know that the Composer's Forge event definitely changed the Didact in some type of digital essence. If you think about it, he is virtually now the anti-Cortana, as he also has access to the domain. Who's to say he can't also take physical form again? Cortana did. A few days ago I went into Forge and noticed that there were some new toys in the prop section, one of which being the Didact doll. If you look at the description at the bottom, it says, "Not all visitors to the domain are strangers." That's when I had the idea that maybe the Didact will somehow use the domain as a medium to corrupt or kill Cortana, as it seems the domain and John are pretty much her only weaknesses now. Lastly, I want to go over what fuels the Didact. The Mantle of Responsibility was originally intended to pass straight from the Precursors to humanity. However, when the Foreigners rebelled against the Precursors, they took the mantle by force and then made humanity to be their successors. For most of their history, the Foreigners considered themselves to be the rightful inheritors of the mantle from the Precursors. I believe that Didact fully intends on restoring the Mantle of Responsibility back to the Foreigners, but to do that, he must first take it from the current stewards, the Created. The Didact also probably wants revenge on Cortana personally for taking him down while he was composing New Phoenix in Halo 4. And if I'm somehow wrong, and they did actually just kill the Didact in the comics, even though that Halo 4 epilogue dialogue hasn't happened, and certain scenes in Spartan Ops just wouldn't make sense, and Frank O'Connor lied saying he'd play a pivotal role in the saga, and Halo Waypoint was wrong, and Brian Reed lied in the escalation notes, and all of this got past their lore team whose sole purpose is to look for these errors, and all of this was in vain.
Those lying, goddamn time wasting sons of bitches. Sons of bitches!
Alright guys, that's all I got for you today. I spent an absolute ton of time putting this together, and I'm eager to hear what role you guys think the Didact will play in Halo 6, or what he's possibly turned into. Comment down below any questions or theories. I'm Bradley Freakin. Thanks for the view.
Come then, warrior. Have your resolution.